Welcome. You are here with Dr. Nilda Perez with Business Foresight, creating strategies towards your extraordinary future. Okay. Welcome. You are here with Dr. Nilda Perez with Business Foresight, creating strategies towards your extraordinary future. Hello, and bienvenidos to Dr. Nilda Foresight Radio. Today we're going to discuss another facet of foresight, and which is thought leadership. So this information is always to prepare you for your business and for the future of your strategy. And we are here with Katie. Katie, say hola.
Hola.
Hola. So, so hoy vamos a hablar sobre otra faceta de estrategias de prevención, y este es el liderazgo de pensamiento. So I'm always happy to have you guys listen in. I'm always excited, and always excited with my guests. I love the fact that you guys participate in the training and in the conversation, and I want you guys to know that you can call. And I'm giving you the number early so that you guys can call ahead, and the number is 845-1390. 845-485-1390. Okay, so let's just dive in. So as always, I like you guys to be able to follow me. And one of the things that I want you to do is to be able to, what I provide every week, Katie, I've changed that, and now it's no longer a PDF, so you can actually write on it.
Perfect. Can you remind me how I can get to there right now?
Okay, so you go to drnildaperez.com/worksheet. All right, and every week it'll be a different worksheet to go along with what I'm saying. And then, again, the idea of this is so that you can have this and keep it, so that, the things that I'm training on, you can be able to incorporate. And, as always, you don't forget. So I always feel that writing things down always helps. So, okay. So our trainings are conversations, and these conversations are here to help you make discoveries, apply insights, reposition your business or your profession for extraordinary success. Los entrenamientos son una conversación para ayudarle a usted a aplicar los conceptos y cambiar su posición de su empresa y para que tenga un éxito extraordinario. So today I'm really delighted to introduce my guest, which is Jorge Buret. Am I saying it correctly?
That's correct.
All right, Buret. He's a thought leader who has created an after-school program, an educational program where he teaches education. He does education through sports, that's fascinating. And so will discuss. He's going to discuss his journey and his success story and how this whole thing came to fruition. So we have a lot of questions for you today. So I hope you're ready, because we have a ton of questions, and I'm really fascinated by his work. But first, we're going to talk about thought leadership, and this is a segue into what he does. So queremos aquí tengo mi invitado Jorge Buret, que es un invitado muy impresionante, y él habla sobre ser un líder y un creador en su programa escolar, en donde él después de la escuela, ¿verdad? Él tiene después de la escuela que tienes un programa que ayuda no solamente al niño con equipos y hacer deportes, pero además de eso también lo ayuda con su educación. Okay. So you will soon realize that a lot of the topics that we talk about, they're kind of interchangeable, and that's one of the things that you're going to realize, that you're going to, some of them are going to kind of, but they all braid together. Some of them will seem isolated, some of them will seem like they're like a part of, or isn't that kind of what she talked about when she talked about innovation? But you're going to realize that all of these overlap, but they're really kind of like a braid, and they all kind of come together. And so today's topic is thought leadership, and it's oftentimes going to seem a lot like innovation, And not that it's a whole lot different, but it's kind of taking the innovation, looking at it from different perspectives. So what do you think about that, Katie?
I think that's awesome. I got a little distracted because I'm trying to figure out how to open the worksheet.
Okay, so it's drnildaperez.com.
I got there and I got the email sent to me, but when I go to click on the file to open it, it doesn't want to open.
Stubborn little
It's
thing.
being stubborn and I want to learn, and I'm like very sad because I was so excited to see what was on the worksheet today.
Oh, okay. So I think we have our tech person listening in, Rachel. If she's the one that
Yeah.
she's got all of this. So you know,
I could
again,
just be inept. I'm sure there's probably a really simple fix. So Rachel, if you could
yeah,
just
Rachel,
text
if you're
me,
listening, please
help me. Thank you.
Give us a call.
Fix
Please.
it. Yeah.
Love
So you
you.
can call, text, or something. But yeah, let's get this
Your
done.
choice.
Yeah, there we go.
Take hold of the computer.
Yeah,
That too.
take it over.
All yours.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about thought leaders.
Okay, thought leaders.
Okay. So thought leaders are the experts. They're the go-to people. They're the ones that are they have an expertise in a field, and they're trusted sources, and they're passionate about their field, and they know they have results, and they inspire those. A thought leader is one that inspires others to follow with their innovative ideas. So they're the ones that turn an idea into a reality. So remember that we've talked about the different facets, that there's an innovator and then there's a creator. So an innovator, creator, they're all kind of interchangeable, and one person can actually do several of these. So the thought leader is the one that takes something that is innovative, and he or she takes that idea and they make it into a reality. So they replicate the success. And the idea of a thought leader is that a thought leader kind of spearheads and helps other people kind of follow in those steps.
So what you're doing right now, by teaching me and helping me follow in your steps.
There we go. So the idea is to replicate, actually.
Not only you.
Yeah.
Only you.
Yeah, there we go.
Trust me, we're all learning from her.
That's awesome.
I feel better now, thank you.
Okay. So, again, son el liderazgo. El líder de pensamiento es un experto, una persona que tiene experiencia y son fuentes de confianza, donde muchas personas vienen donde ellos, y la pasión de ellos es de coger su campo y darles resultados que inspiran a otros con ideas e innovaciones. So with this, I want to talk about somebody that I was introduced to quite a few years ago by my cousin. We all know that I'm an avid reader. I love to read. And so she brought me this book that I swear I was in her house for the weekend, and I think by the weekend I was like 3/4 gone through the book.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even sleep because it was so captivating. And so she introduced me to Denise Bourceau. And Denise Bourceau has a book, and the book is called Are You Ready to Be a Thought Leader?
Okay.
And so Denise talks about thought leadership, and she talks about the influence. And she's also an influential authority, and she teaches others how to position themselves to become influencers. Because it doesn't matter what you know, it matters the mark that you make in life. And so a thought leader is not just interested in learning and doing things for themselves, but they're the ones that take it to the next step and actually have followers and actually have people that are interested in, they're interested in bringing other people along with them. So they're almost like the showpiece, to get other people to follow them. So this is a statement that she made that, I thought was great, and I wanted to share with you is, thought leaders create a dedicated group of friends, because people become your friends.
We were just talking about that.
Right, exactly. So they create a dedicated group of friends, fans and followers, to help them replicate and scale ideas into sustainable change, and not just a company, but an industry, but a niche across the entire ecosystems. So what we're talking about here is, she believes that a thought leader helps others in industries and in different areas. They're an expert in an area, but they also spearhead to be able to help others to be able to replicate that. So ella confirma que los líderes de pensamiento crean un grupo dedicado de amigos, fans y seguidores. Those are your followers. Entonces eso implica que las ideas y el cambio sostiene no solo una compañía, pero sino una industria, que un nicho que todos puedan seguir. Okay? So we're going to go into a short break here. We're going to go into a short break. And if you guys have any questions, I want you to remember to call 845-485-1390. And si tienen preguntas, llamen al 845-485-1390. And commercial.
Okay. I wasn't ready. I thought we were playing a song.
Okay, so we can do that too?
Wait, I got you.
Okay.
I just wanted to,
Fuera de control. Llame a Consol.
I thought you said before you were going to play a song, and then I was going to play a commercial after that.
Si no ven resultados, llame a Consolidated Credit.
I'm just going to send it in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Las de crédito son muy altas.
Yeah, I just got the...
Oh, she sent you a text?
00
Yeah.
596
Oh, she probably did.
359. Hemos ayudado a más de 5 millones de personas y estamos listos para ayudarle. Podemos rebajar
Okay,
sus
so you have
intereses,
30 seconds
reducir sus
before we play
pagos
your...
hasta un
I mean, the thing is
50%
plugged
y
into your
ayudarle a
laptop when
eliminar
it's
sus
on.
deudas rápidamente. Si está luchando con las
And we're
deudas
going to
de
do
sus
that
tarjetas
for
de
like
crédito,
3 minutes and
Consolidated
then
le enseñará cómo salir y mantener
some of these
su
songs
deudas.
are way too
Llama
long.
al 800-590-3959.
People love music. I love music.
Yeah, I know, but I want to get your questions in. That's the thing. I want to make sure
I
that
wish I could be
we...
listening to the music too.
You can do it. It'll come up every time.
No es una compañía de préstamos con licencia del Departamento de Servicios Financieros de New York y el Departamento de Regulaciones Financieras de Vermont, Maryland de M19 de Oregón de M8001. Los servicios son
Oh, she did
mayormente
email. Okay.
Okay, your song.
Okay. So, okay, so it's plugged in. Is it not plugged into the right place? No place. So why isn't it?
Oh, I hear it. And it's gone. Oh, it's back.
This, it's the fun thing about being radio. You can make all the mistakes in the world, and everyone catches them.
Yeah. Which is fine. I catch them on the air, I catch them on
Yeah,
Facebook.
there you go. Facebook. Yeah. Just roll with the punches.
Yes.
Yeah. Like this is what happened last week. Last week it was like we were 40 minutes late. I was like, oh well.
You can't control the traffic.
Can't control the traffic.
They make mistakes on TV too. They just edit them, unless it's live TV, they
Right, you
just
can
edit them.
edit them out.
And,
Yeah.
and
Well,
people don't know
We
that
don't
they
edit them
have-
out. We're okay
And
with the
trust me,
mistakes.
we have
We're live. We're real.
We have a lot of fun when we watch the part that was cut off from a show.
Yeah.
Trust me,
Yeah.
that's probably the funniest part.
We don't cut it off, so
Yeah, we put it all out there.
yeah. So say hello, Katie.
Hello, Katie. So yeah, I got her email and I have the worksheet.
Okay. Worksheets. I'll have them download that worksheet.
He searched the city streets, he tempted her retreats, but nobody stopped to taste them. Some are in his
What is this
pocket,
song?
some are in a locket. He couldn't bring himself to waste
You ready
them.
to go back to it?
Ever since she's gone, some days he can't go.
I'm gonna fade it.
And we're back. So welcome back to Dr. Nilda Perez Show. We are here in Juan 95.7 and La Super Latina. So we're going to talk a little bit more about thought leaders. So thought leaders are those influential people who make changes for the greater good of others. So remember we're talking about they're spearheaders, they're spearheaders of positive change. They don't necessarily invent new things, but they are definitely the ones that carry it forward. They take what's already existing and they catapult it to the next level. So there were two people that Denise Brosoff talks about that I thought were fascinating. When I saw the stuff that they do, I was like, whoa, that's like super cool. She talks about Ron Finley. So Ron Finley does is that he is dedicated to planting gardens. So
Okay.
he's a gardener. But here's the thing, he does it in abandoned lots.
That's nice.
He does it in abandoned lots, in traffic medians, and he also does it along curbs. He does this in South Central LA. And he does this in urban communities. And so he calls himself the gangster, is it cool, right? The gangster gardener.
Thanks, gardener, okay.
So the reason why he does this is that he's actually, what he's doing with this is he's teaching people in urban communities, because the urban communities have the most fast foods. And that is like the worst food. It's all processed. Even in the supermarkets, what do they have? All of this processed food. And that's like the worst thing that you can eat. So he's teaching urban communities how they can grow their own gardens, organic gardens, and be able to take that, to eat properly. So he gives them like different recipes of different things that you can do. But he first, of course, has to, it's a lot more expensive to buy organic food than to grow your own.
To grow your own, yeah.
So abandoned lots, traffic medians, in front of curbs, he teaches them how to grow their gardens. And he's taking that and he's showing them now, see, you can eat healthy. You can eat healthy foods and you don't need to run to the, McDonald's.
Right.
And prep the quick meals with stuff that you grow.
Does he hold seminars, or he just show up and start planting?
He holds seminars. He talks to the community. Remember, he's not doing this by himself. It's very community oriented, and he's bringing the community together while he's teaching them, and they're like fascinated by this because this is not something that was typical for them. Remember, nobody thinks of growing a garden in an urban community.
Yeah, why would you?
Exactly. Well, here's the thing, but you can.
Right.
So having that ability is what he's teaching them how to grow with the compost and the whole thing. This is what he does. This is thought leadership.
Right, and imagine all the other things that they're learning through gardening and through that community work.
Right, and they're learning how to eat healthier. They're learning how to change what they do. Right, they're learning how to change what they do on a daily basis because remember they knew no other way, and this is teaching them that there is another way. So I'm going to say this in Spanish. Ron Finley, él planta jardines en urbanizaciones que son urbanas. Él los enseña lo hace en lotes que son abandonados. Lo hace, él crea estos jardines, son jardines de comida, que en medios de tráfico, en bordas de casas o caseríos, y en jardines que están abandonados. Entonces él enseña a las personas en la comunidad, no solamente para que crezcan esto, para crecerlo, pero para que coman más saludable. Le está enseñando y le está dando recetas y distintas maneras que ellos pueden comer, y lo está haciendo enseñándole primeramente que ellos pueden crecer su comida orgánica de sus propios lotes, de sus propios las áreas que ellos tienen. Okay? The other person that she talks about is Robin Chase. Now, have you guys ever heard of Zipcar?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, everywhere. That's everywhere in the
We
city.
had him at school, at Marist.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Robin Chase was the one. She's a transportation entrepreneur. So remember, prior to this, rentals have been it's been all my life where people can rent a car. That's why they have the Enterprise and Hertz and all this. Well, she took that concept to the next level. And again, she also did this in an urban community. So what she did was to have a car in an urban community, well, we come from the city. You come from the city, I come from the city. So New York City, to have a car is it's a nightmare. Because where you park, there's always, you have to move your car from one side to the next. So it's such a nightmare. So with Zipcar, you own a car, is a co-op. And everybody owns a part of a car, which is fascinating, right? Everybody owns, and when you need it, you have it. So of course, you're going to pay accordingly. If you need it every weekend, you're going to pay more than a person that just needs it once a month. So they're paying into this all the time, so they have the benefit of a car, but they don't have to park the car and pay tickets and pay insurance and pay, because they're paying into this co-op. And in that payment, all of that stuff is included. When they need it, they have it. When they don't need it, they don't have it. So they can use public transportation. That's a great idea. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but I thought, when I first heard of this, I was like, this is off the chain awesome, right?
To be honest with you, I heard about Zipcar, but I didn't know the concept of it.
Yeah,
and
I
I
didn't
think
know
that's
that
a
either.
great idea.
Oh, see, the thing is, like, so you own a car, but you don't own a car.
Right, I didn't realize the background. I mean, when I was in school and college, as a freshman, you weren't allowed to have a car on campus. So you can't walk everywhere all the time. So we learned about these zip cars, and they have them in the school parking lot. And I guess it makes sense now that you've explained everything. But you signed up, and you paid a little bit for when you needed it, and you shared it with however many freshman students needed to go somewhere sometime, and it was really helpful.
Right, so you have a new car, but it's not totally your own.
Right.
So there's like, so I think, right, so that,
Right, it wasn't.
that's awesome. I didn't even know that Maris did
Yeah,
that.
Maris says that. Yeah.
So you really don't have the responsibilities of having a car because you don't have to worry about insurance, registration, inspection.
Right, it took away the hassle, and I mean.
and everything is done for you, literally, right?
Right, everything's done for you, and you just pay like this one
Right,
monthly
and
payment.
it's pretty inexpensive. I mean, especially
Wow.
as a student or someone in the city who's working and who only needs it once a week or whatnot. It's the perfect.
Yeah, like to get away like once a month. Like, all right, I need to get away for the weekend. I don't have to go to
Yeah.
Hertz and rent a car for the weekend, and usually.
That would cost you your entire trip.
Right, and it also kind of defeats the purpose. You have to park the car. You have to see with Zipcar. You don't have to. They pick you up, and you drop the car off, and that's it. You know what? You have no more hands off, no more responsibility. So I thought that was
My
fascinating.
favorite topic.
Okay, so Robin Chase is considered a thought leader. So she took a concept that had been like there for years, and she took it to the next level. She's like,
How can we make it better?
how can we make it better? She found a solution, right? And isn't that what I always talk about, those solutions?
Yes.
So, again, that's really what a thought leader is, It's a group, let me just translate this really quickly. Ella es una empresaria de transporte y la fundadora de Zipcar. Zipcar es una empresa que todo el mundo paga un poco para el carro. So viene a ser como una cooperativa que todo el mundo paga un precio, solamente usas el carro cuando lo necesitas y solamente pagas por lo que necesitas. So, en otra palabra, tú pagas mensual y lo usas y lo necesitas solamente una vez a la semana, una vez al mes, una vez cada. Cuando tú necesitas ese carro está disponible. Y fuera de eso no tienes responsabilidad con el carro. Tú no lo tienes que estacionar, nada. El carro ya es una tarifa nada más y ya todo. No necesitas hacerlo más. So Zipcar es una idea fenómena.
That was great. It sounded like a spot on the radio for a zip car.
There we go. You know what, they need to pay
We'll just
for
throw a
this.
bed of music underneath you. Yeah, it'll be perfect.
There we go. So a group of people, again, this is again, these are ideas that I'm putting out there because I want you to just start thinking this way. My idea is always to be able, as a thought leader.
There you go.
My idea is always to be able to bring different ideas and different thoughts so that people can see their capability and what's available and how they can take a concept and say, hey, we can better this. How many people have said, man, I had that idea, and they never actually fulfilled it.
Yeah.
So, to talk a little bit more about thought leaders, they anticipate the needs and they give cutting-edge solutions. It's just what this woman did. They warrant the forefront of change in their industry. Again, a thought leader doesn't have like 1,000 different things that they do. They usually specialize in one area, and they make moves that warrant that spotlight. And it's not all about you. And a thought leader is always bringing people along, but it does give you that spotlight.
It does. Yes.
It does. So they share information and they have different variety of platforms that they do it. They do it through blogs, they do it through articles, through speaking, through radio. Yeah, they find different platforms because the main thing is to get your message out.
To get it out there.
And that's the core of it.
I understand.
Okay, awesome. So all right. So we're going to, with this always segues to bring you, into the next level. And right now, I read this article a few weeks back from James O'Brien, How to Identify a Wannabe Leader. And he states that really what the difference between a wannabe leader and a real thought leader is experience. Experience. So if you have experience in an area, that would, and you're taking that and you're, actually, in being, taking that to the next level and you're being that conduit to bring people along, that's is that component that qualifies you as a thought leader. So there's no better person that I can even talk about that is a better is a better idea of a thought leader than Jorge Buret. He's a true, I have to tell you, a true thought leader. I've been very fascinated by the things that he's done. I mean, we drove here together, and the whole way here I was like, what?
Well, I mean, in the short time that I've known him today, I mean, he's been the fixer of all problems. He's like, oh, I can fix this. Hold on, give me 1 second. He ran to his car in the middle of the rain to just, to fix everything. So
Yeah.
he seems like he's just not someone who sits still and stands in the back.
No, not at all, not at all. So let me give you his bio.
Okay.
So Jorge Buret is the CEO and founder of Hoops and Sports for All. He has created an after-school program in the Greater Hudson Valley that where children can be educated through sports. He's been doing this kind of work for over 20 years. This is how he met his wife.
Aww.
And his wife of what, for 12 years?
12 years.
12 years.
4, 6,
Almost
12
years.
12,
4 going on
13.
12.
Yeah, sorry about that. And he has his experience in teaching kids from 4 years old to adulthood.
Okay.
It goes way beyond just the sports, though. You have to hear him. So Jorge has a third degree black belt. I know very little about this stuff. Can you tell? He has this arts discipline.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. There we go. His expertise has been teaching principles of Taekwondo,
Wow.
which are courtesy, integrity, perseverance, and self-control.
Those are good qualities.
Good qualities. And Indomitable Spirit. So he was talking to me today also about the spiritual part of sports and how this whole thing comes together. So he has helped shape the future of thousands of kids. He did a lot of his work in New York City, and he's been in the Greater Hudson Valley for about 4 years now.
Yes.
Okay, and he is taking that same concept and he's bringing it up here, and he's going to explain why he's doing this.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here.
It's fascinating.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure to converse with you, to learn from you, to listen to you as well.
Yeah. Well,
Believe me, I learned a lot from you.
Thank you. So we've been working together for a little bit now, and I have to tell you, he's a great student. He's a great student of my work, but because I know very little about sports. So there are going to be times where I'm going to be like, what? Just so you know. So I have so many questions that I just kind of really want to dive into it. So what need did you find that compelled you to create Hoops and Sports for All? And I'm going to translate that. ¿Qué necesidad encontraste que te obligó, porque fue como una obligación que sentiste a crear Hoops and Sports for All?
Well, there has been a lot of motivation behind this. Like you said, I've been doing this type of work for the greater part of my life, and I moved up here, and I noticed that there's not that many programs for the kids up here that are affordable, that allow the kids to attend and learn and have these role models in their life that have this early intervention in their life that actually put them in the right path for success. Mm-hmm. And I have kids. I have young kids. I have a 9-year-old. I have a 3-year-old. I also happen to have a 17-year-old boy. And I experience the same thing with all kids. All kids, when they don't have enough activities to do, they focus a lot on TV, a lot on video games. And I don't think that's a solution. I think that video games they're not good for kids. They're kind of a form of brainwashing. When you have a kid that's 7 years old, 9 years old, 3 years old, even 17 years old, playing these violent video games all day long.
Yeah.
And
No more Pokemon, huh?
It's making a comeback.
Pokemon
Yeah.
might be one of the
It's
best games. But when I'm talking about this first-person shooters, where they have a machine gun,
Like the Call of Duty, right?
and there's other games
Yes.
where they actually play a game where they take an old lady out of a car and steal the car. And I don't think these are the type of games, these are the type of things that a child should be doing when they're learning, when they're growing up.
Right, because they're learning violence from a very young age, which can't possibly be good. Wow.
I think it kind of desensitizes them.
It does.
Definitely.
It desensitizes them. Absolutely.
And it makes them to a level they think that it's okay to do these things because
Right.
they do it for years, and usually when kids are playing video games, it's not like the parent is behind them watching every single thing that happens on the video game. And these video games are
It's
rated.
a babysitter. Why would they?
They're rated a certain way, and we actually I don't think we follow that. I don't think when a video game says mature content, we actually stop our kids from playing them. They actually, like you said, it's a self-sitter. So we appreciate the video game because it's like we don't no longer have to take care of our kids.
Right,
We allow them to play.
Right. And again, because we have to understand, like most of us, with the way that we grew up, the games were really very benign, and it wasn't anything. So we don't think of them that way. But now that there's
Unfortunately, right, you have to be more aware of what the kids are playing.
Right, exactly. So I don't think it's unintentional. I really believe that, again, because a lot of us grew up, gaming, and it was
Right,
nothing.
and I
like
think that's a
this.
little part of it, but I think then at a certain point as a parent, you have to sit back and say, okay, things are different now than when I was, growing up.
Yeah.
Let's reevaluate what my kid is doing right now.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I think I think a lot of people are doing that. But then, so you're taking them away from that. So what's the alternative?
Yep.
So
The alternative is for them to be better in school. They get better on the weaknesses, whether the weakness is math. This test that we have these days now, that they have this ELA test, English language arts and math test for the state, that the kids have to pass in order for them to advance in grade. They're so demanding, and it's like us as parents, we're so preoccupied with our...
It is not the same thing that we were learning when we were kids. It's a little bit more complicated. So we look at it, we be like, hey, are they really teaching a 9-year-old all this stuff right now?
Right.
Do they really need to know all this?
Yeah.
And trust me.
But they can because they're bright.
So they are very bright. They are very bright, and they understand the concept. But it's up to us to keep them focused on what the real important things are.
Right.
So my whole concept is that what do they like? So I try to focus
Go ahead.
on the things that they like as part of motivation for them to do the things that they don't like. Because nobody likes to do math problems and read.
Right.
But everybody likes to play sports. For the
And
money.
so you're combined. Okay, so with that, my next question to you is, so what is the concept of supplemental educational facility? Because you're telling me that you're offering both. You're telling me that you're offering sports, but you're also offering education. So how is yours different? How is your program different? ¿Cuál es el concepto de un centro educativo suplementario que como el suyo? ¿Cómo es el suyo distinto?
The difference is the idea of incorporating the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's not just learning from a book. It's not just doing physical stuff, because there's plenty of places where anybody can go and open up a book and they get an explanation of what they're learning, or there's plenty of places where they can go and do exercise. But now we're incorporating the spirit part of it. We're trying to incorporate the nutrition part of it. So we're incorporating every single aspect of life, mind, body, spirit, and as well as nutrition.
El cuerpo y el espíritu.
Absolutamente. Incorporar la parte mental, la parte física y la parte espiritual en este concepto, porque muchos de los niños es bien fácil abrir un libro y leer un libro, es bien fácil ir a un sitio y jugar un deporte, pero la mayoría de los niños es un poquito difícil para ellos cuando los papás le dicen, es domingo, vamos para la iglesia, ponte tu ropa, vamos para... No, papi, yo no quiero ir para la iglesia. Yo prefiero irme a jugar un juego de video en la televisión.
Y los deportes, muchos de los deportes son también los domingos. There's a lot of sports that are strictly on Spanish. Okay. That are strictly on Sundays and or Saturdays and Sundays, which is great, but then that takes away from that spiritual, which you're saying is very important.
Especially if you have multiple kids and you're running around from one sport to the next. I mean,
right.
Exactly.
Well, and I think the spiritual component is very, very important in raising. It's in the formation of a child.
Oh, 100%. I agree.
Okay, so Katie is just to give you a little background on Katie. Katie is a youth leader, and she does a lot of work with kids. And with that, she understands the spiritual component and how, it's very important. Like all these, education is important, sports are important, but that spiritual piece is also just as important. So explícame, ¿cómo piensas, cómo crees que vaya a hacer esta parte? Like, how do you going to incorporate the spiritual piece? La parte espiritual, ¿cómo la vas a incorporar?
The spiritual piece is a little bit difficult, but it's going to happen through the martial arts aspect of it. The martial arts aspect of it helps them learn how to meditate, how to concentrate, how to channel that energy to something positive, which is the same concept of church and religion. At the same time, it is a bit difficult because everyone has different religious beliefs, and I don't want to change anybody's religious belief. I just want to change the way that they channel that type of energy, and that they know that there is a supreme being. Whatever they believe in, I will respect that. It's not like I'm going to try to change anybody's religion or try to change anybody's belief, but more towards explaining to them the importance of them having that belief and having that energy channeled the right way.
Right.
And martial arts, for example, have done greatness for me. In regards to concentration, in regards to the discipline aspect of it. It teaches you that you can just accomplish anything and everything you put your mind into in your life.
Right. Right. Oh, can you tell me, how did you get involved in Taekwondo? ¿Cómo fue que te involucraste en?
I got involved in Taekwondo. I started, my first martial arts was Shotokan, and I got involved back in 1986. I met this gentleman. His name is Frank Medina, and he used to work for two organizations similar to the one that I'm starting now.
Okay.
Number one was Alianza Dominicana. And which is Dominican Alliance, and number two was the New York City Cadet Corps. So I actually met him. He went with a group of kids to do a demonstration at my elementary school, and he invited all the kids to come over to his program. And I actually convinced my father, I don't know how, to allow me to go to this program after school. And I met this gentleman, and I can tell you, he was a start. He was major part of the change in my life, because instead of me being on the street, probably doing who knows what with the wrong people, I was at his program. I was at his program, channeling my energy in a positive way, learning.
So él fue su mentor y él le ayudó con Taekwondo, le ayudó y también, acuérdese, yo sé que estábamos hablando de esto, viniste de la República Dominicana y no conocías el idioma, no conocías la cultura, and he was able to bring it all together for you con Taekwondo.
Well, actually, he was my Shotokan instructor. Yes, I started practicing Japanese discipline before Taekwondo is a Korean discipline. I started practicing Taekwondo later on in my life.
So we're learning.
We are.
But I came from the Dominican Republic, like I said, and I couldn't speak English at all. I was a little lost. I did not have any friends. I did not know how to fit in. So, that was the time for me to either throw my life away or find the right path. I believe in my own interpretation that meeting this gentleman put me on the right path.
Okay, that was
But-
divine
I was
intervention.
gonna say that was God right there.
That was God right there, because you know what, uno viene de un país que desconocido a la cultura, a la,
Yeah.
a la lengua,
idioma,
a la-
el idioma.
al idioma. Sí, entonces cuando uno viene, son mucho, it's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
shock.
intimidating.
Yeah.
A lot of challenges. A lot
Yeah.
of challenges. You being an immigrant, coming from a different country, not knowing the language, not having friends,
Yeah.
not knowing anybody, and not knowing what to do. I mean,
Right.
you want to fit in. You want to be liked by your friends, by your peers. You,
Right.
You want to be able to do something. So
Right.
at that age, it's very difficult. And
Right.
if you don't have the right leadership, the right guidance, many things can happen. Many
Right.
things can happen. So
Right.
he was one of my motivations for this whole thing. I was not with Frank for a long time. I was only with him from about 1986 to about 1989 or 1990. Then I met Master Juan J. Cáceres
Juan.
and
95.7.
Juan J. Cáceres,
95.7.
Juan Jose Cáceres,
Okay.
who became at the time he was a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo, and he became a mentor, my second father, I would say,
That's great.
my motivation. And he actually, I have been practicing Taekwondo since 1991 all the way to the present, and
Okay.
he's the one that put me on that path.
That's wonderful. Okay, so we're going to take a little break here, and we're going to continue with the questions because I have a lot more questions. So please call with any questions or comments to 845-485-1390. Llamen al 845-485-1390 con preguntas y comentarios. Y vamos ahorita a una música. Okay.
Me voy pa' bailar el balón.
De control, Jumia Consolidated Credit. Si está cansado de hacer pagos mínimos mensuales y no ver resultados, Jumia Consolidated Credit. Si las tasas de interés de sus tarjetas de crédito son muy altas, Jumia Consolidated Credit. Al 800-590-1319. Hemos ayudado a más de 5 millones de personas. Estamos listos para ayudarle. Podemos pagar sus intereses menos y sus pagos hasta un 50%. Darle
And I was shy, so I was like,
si está luchando
oh, how am I going to speak to him? How is he going to teach me? And I didn't find out he was Dominican until probably like 10 years later. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't
I
that
was
wrong?
like 10 months, 10 years.
No, 10 years, probably 10 years later.
That's crazy.
Wow. Thought it's 10 months later.
I know, that's what I was waiting for.
So he spoke perfect Spanish, just like me.
You never knew.
And I never knew.
Alright, we got 5 seconds.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Dr. Nilda Radio Show at 195.7 y La Super Latina. So we have way more questions here, and we're trying to get them all in. So we're gonna kind of like speed on ahead because we have like a few minutes, but we want to be able to use our time well. So, what has been how do you plan to incorporate education into the project?
The whole idea is, like I mentioned to you earlier, you have me doing some research because you actually mentioned to me about the TOMS model.
Yes.
And the TOMS model is the
Well,
one
business models.
one for one. I am incorporating an idea based on that model, but it's going to be a slightly little different.
Okay.
The whole concept is certain people is going to be able to afford this program, but others are not.
Can you hold that thought? Can you talk to them a little bit about the TOMS model? Do you want me to share the TOMS model?
Yes.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Yes.
Okay, so the TOMS business model. So I'll tell you this really quick. So
Okay.
Tom.
Is Tom a person?
TOMS is the name of the company.
Okay.
And so what he did was that he went as a missionary to a third world
Oh, the
country.
shoes guy.
Right,
Yes,
shoes
okay.
guy, right,
Got
right.
it.
So he went to as a missionary, and when he went there, he realized that there were a lot of kids that were dying, and they were so young. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Why are they dying?" They were like, "Well, they get parasites." And he was like, "Well, what is it? How are they getting parasites?"
Right.
Well, they had no shoes, so their feet would get cut, and the parasites would come in through their feet. So he's like, well, that's an easy enough solution. I mean, he was an entrepreneur and as a businessman, he was like, we can take care of that. So what he did was he decided, well, we need to take care of that. If they need shoes, and we need to supply that. So he went back to the company, and he went back and he had a meeting with his staff and said, how are we going to do this? And they were like, well, we can do a 501c and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, no, So they kind of kicked around a few ideas, and what they came up with was what they call now the Tom's business model, which was buy one shoe and you give one shoe. So for every shoe you buy, they give a shoe away. And I know this has been replicated. I know Warby Parker and Thinks. There's different companies that have done this, but this was how this whole thing was born. So in my consulting with Jorge, well, that's one of the things that we talked about, and he took this. He was like, he walked away, and he was like, oh my God! All right, I gotta think about that. So tell them what you came up with, which I think is great.
What I came up with is that instead of doing a 1-for-1, which is very hard for a new business, by the way. So
he was already in business.
I thought about the 3-for-1. So what that is that if 3 kids are signed up to the program, let's say for a period of 6 months.
Right.
So they sign this contract and they sign up for the program for 6 months. So at the same time, they will be sponsoring another kid. So that kid has to meet a certain criteria. And the criteria will be that kid has to be a straight A student.
So academic criteria.
So in academics, this kid has to be perfect, literally one of the best kids. So how am I incorporating this? Because usually the type of kids that are academically perfect, they don't focus that much on sports. They kind of
they
geeky,
lack a little bit.
Kind of the geeky little kid that doesn't play sports, that's on the books, and everybody usually makes fun of them.
Right.
So in a way, this will help them because they will interact with people that are completely different, that don't have the talent that they have academically, but are better in sports.
So there's an exchange.
So there will be an exchange. The responsibility of this kid is his parents will not have to pay for the kid to be in this program, but the kid's responsibility will be he will have to tutor these 3 other kids. So these 3 kids will be they're good athletes, but they necessarily don't have to be good academically while this other kid is. So this other kid is easier for another kid of the same age, same gender, to get through to another kid than for us as adults, as educators, to get through to them. So now kids listen to kids, absolutely.
Right.
So now the whole idea is for this kid that's being sponsored to help them get better academically while they help him get better physically.
Okay. So now that we know the plans of providing academic assistance, I want to talk about the nutritional piece because I know we talked about that. So I want you to explain to me, how are you planning to bring in the nutrition? This seems to be a very all-encompassing program, and I would like to know a little bit more about the healthy nutrition and and how you're going to bring that in.
Well, the whole idea is we talked about mind, body, and spirit, and humans are like a machine. If it doesn't matter everything you do, if you don't put the right type of fuel in a good car, it's going to operate just like a regular car. So if you could buy a $100,000 car, if you're putting regular fuel and regular oil on that car, then it's going to break down just like a regular car. So it's the same thing with the human body. If you don't learn how to incorporate your nutrition, and you spoke about it earlier about organic food, certain foods and certain things, and eating healthier and living a healthier lifestyle. Yeah, it's very easy for everybody to go buy French fries and fried chicken every day, all the time. And trust me, it's good.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're trying to teach our kids. We're trying to teach our kids how to eat healthy. And we kind of have lost that. And that's going to be part of the program, to educate them how what they eat changes their life as well.
Okay, so to translate that, también vas a incorporar la nutrición en el programa. So solamente cuando estamos hablando de cómo es la mentalidad, el espíritu, no como la mentalidad, la emoción y el espíritu, o el cuerpo y el espíritu, la nutrición es como el individuo o el niño va a aprender a comer mejor, que es parte de su salud.
El niño va a aprender a comer tipos de comidas saludables, que lamentablemente es muy difícil hoy en día en nuestra comunidad hacer que un niño se coma un vegetal o una
Porque
fruta.
están acostumbrados a los McDonald's y a la comida
A la comida rápida. La comida
sí.
rápida que actualmente es bien dañina para el
Exacto.
sistema humano.
Sí.
Y es preferente que los niños aprendan los beneficios de comer vegetales, de comer frutas, de beber mucha agua.
Y es la formación del niño. You're forming this child. You're forming this child since he's very young. La formación del niño desde bien joven. Y si aprenden a esa edad a comer bien, los resultados van a ser muy positivos porque hay muchos niños obesos en este mundo. There's a lot of obese kids.
Yeah.
So it's not just the sports, but it's also the intake and the fuel, like you said, the fuel that they're taking in.
Well, like I said, it's mental, mind, body, and spirit. So first, we're taking them out of the bedroom and the living room from watching TV shows and violent video games to going to a place where they are going to exercise, where they are going to learn how to eat healthy, where they are going to focus on doing the homework and learning and getting better on their weaknesses in school.
Right.
And at the same time, they're going to learn how to meditate, they're going to learn how to bond and become a team and help one another and raise their confidence level, which is a recipe for success in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's what fascinates me most about your program is the tools that you're giving the kids, so that way as they grow, they have those to fall back on instead of the violent video games and the laziness and the fast food. And
Right. Well, they won't even have the time for the video games because when
Right.
you're involved in a sport, and that's the kids you see those kids those Olympians, they start so young, and they don't even know what games are out.
They
Like
don't.
seriously.
Well, I think that's a little bit different than what he's talking about, like an Olympic aspirant versus
Well, it's actually related, very related, believe it or not, because I happened to, when I was practicing Taekwondo, I happened to be a competitor. So I used to travel overseas. I went to the major part of South America. I went to Canada. I was on a U.S. national team for 2 years, and I had to be disciplined. I had to know that it was time for me to go to bed, that it was time for me to turn off the TV,
Right,
that I had a
that's-
long workout. So hey,
Yeah.
bath, eat,
Yeah.
go to
No,
sleep.
I think that's
Yeah.
incredible. I'm not discrediting that, but I'm just looking at like the mass majority of kids. That's not their lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even if you throw them into a basketball program or a soccer program or a martial arts program, at the end of the day, it's not their life. You know
But
what I
when
mean?
a kid has a passion, when you give them more options to have a passion,
Right.
you know,
Right.
they will develop that.
And
because
they'll find their niche because oftentimes I think kids are in sports that they really don't really like. This is something that is their.
Right.
and that's why
Mm-hmm.
I am incorporating basketball, football, baseball, soccer, martial arts, lacrosse, tennis, volleyball, and hopefully in the future swimming. Hopefully, but the whole part is they
I'm
can't
gonna
be.
be a cheerleader. It's the best I can do.
Maybe that's a
Sit
good
down.
idea. Maybe cheerleading as well.
It is a
because
sport.
trust
It
me,
is a
that
sport. It absolutely
it is
is.
a sport. People
Yeah.
don't realize that
Yeah.
that it is
And
a
the
sport.
discipline.
Yes.
Whoa, yeah. Okay, so all right, so I'm sure that people that are listening here are going to just this is going to blow this, especially when you have children. You're going to have a lot of people wanting to come into this program. So, how many children do you think that you can incorporate in this program? Like, what? How many? Kids?
Well, we're looking for room to grow. So
Where?
honestly,
where are you going to start? Where? 'Cause
right now,
Right.
we're looking at a facility that's going to be 90 by 100,
That's
103 by 60. I believe I showed you the plans
I
earlier.
know,
and,
we're on radio. I just wish
can't-
that I could show you this.
and
It's amazing.
the good part about this is that it's a sprung structure, so it can be expanded at any minute, and it doesn't take that long for them to do it. So if I have one building, they can actually
A pop-up.
do another building next to it within 25 to 30 days. So depending on the amount of children that I anticipate having, I can always upgrade the size of the building,
That's
and
fantastic.
they will be able to do the whole thing within 25 to 30 days.
So the main thing is the land right now, right?
The
That's-
land, the
okay.
land that is approximately 8.4 acres of land, so that's very big.
So is your program happening right now? Like if I had kids who I wanted to get involved?
Right now, the program is in the starting part of it.
Okay.
We have been doing a lot of community activities. Actually, I have held clinics and basketball tournaments in the town of Walk Hill.
Okay.
And they have been, for the most part, free of charge to the kids in an effort to publicize
Right.
what
So
we're
how do
doing.
we find out about your clinics? Do you have a website, Facebook?
Yeah, I have a
Okay.
website which is www.hoopsandsportsforall, the number 4,
The number 4.
My favorite number.
all.com. And I'm also on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook Live right now, drnilda.com. That's correct.
Okay, right. So if you want, you can also call him at 845-276-0388 if you want more information on how to get your child in there, into this program. And again, www.hoopsforall.com. Si tiene interés en tener su hijo, en poner su hijo en este programa, esto es Hoops and Sports for All. Y lo vamos a poner también en Facebook Live para que lo tenga, y lo vamos a poner en SoundCloud para que tengan la
It is
información.
also on
Okay,
YouTube. We
Okay.
have videos of all the events that we have held.
Well,
right.
you already have one new person who's going to be involved because Rachel just messaged me and she wants me to let you know that she's excited and
Okay.
she wants to join.
Okay. So, so I want you to remember that for a really short time, I'm giving away my book. So it's free. And I want you to go on to www.drnildaperez.com. That's no point, that's drnildaperez.com/ebook. And you can download your copy of my book. And I also want to let you know that next week we have a fascinating woman. Her name is Dr. Ruby Rios. She's a Latina scientist and innovator. And her research is cancer cell research. So she's going to be talking about her work and all the great things that she's doing. You're really going to enjoy her. She is this just amazing woman, sweet lady. And I tell you, but she's dynamic. You're really going to enjoy her show, the show with her. So espero que la semana que viene que se sintonicen y que oigan a la doctora Ruby Ríos, una científica y innovadora latina. But my focus is also to be able to feature all of these Latinos that are doing great things, and they're just amazing. So my phone is ringing. This happens all the time. So las investigaciones que ella está haciendo son de células cancerosas, and that's again great. It's just great stuff that she's doing. So I want you to remember to tune in next week and listen to this program next week. So till next week, and remember, keep preparing for an extraordinary future. So bueno, la semana que viene vamos a tener y vamos a comenzar con más innovación. So, para un futuro exitoso. And until then, I will see you guys. Alrighty. And okay.
Very persistent, whoever it is.
You can turn that off. Turn that off and then. Exactly. That's it. Ruben is like, she needs to connect. I want to thank you for being with us on Business Foresight, always creating strategies towards an extraordinary future. Remember, I'm here with you with strategies every Saturday. I'll see you next week.